Welcome to Week 3, Threats to Biodiversity. Extinction is the most irreversible and tragic of all environmental calamities. With each plant and animal species that disappears, a precious part of creation is callously erased. As our numbers climb, we expand agricultural conversion, import invasive species, hunt more species, degrade habitat, fragment and lose habitat, pollute air and water, and impact climate. In short, we are causing the sixth mass extinction, the only biologically driven one. Major factors impacting diversity: habitat loss and degradation, pollution, land cover change, invasive species, overexploitation, climate change, increasing population, urbanization, extinction, agriculture, fisheries, international trade. First is habitat degradation. It includes conversion from suitable to unsuitable land, lowering quality of the habitat, or fragmentation that lowers the population vulnerability assessment. Causes are many industries, including forestry, agriculture, development, fishing, mining, and chemical industry. Overexploitation is hunting, collecting, fishing, and indirect bycatch, and the trade of animals and parts. Invasive species: with our help, species have the ability to get virtually anywhere in the world. Direct actions are predation, parasitism, disease, competition, or hybridization. Indirect paths are changing abundances, disruption of mutualisms, modifying habitat, and reducing habitat quality. Climate change has been a cause of previous mass extinctions. Couple this with lower abundance, invasive species, and other problems, a severe impact is likely from climate change. Climate change will also trigger additional biological responses, such as malaria in temperate places. There's a snowballing effect to the invasion of the alien root pathogen. So here's an example of invasion, death of trees and shrubs, and then you can see how it is catastrophic in the end because you lose nectar, you lose seeds, loss of sites of refuges, loss of habitat, reduction in transpiration, loss of canopy, stored seeds, and then you lose pollinators, loss of food for pollinators and herbivores, rise in water table, few seeds for post-fire recruitment. So you can see how that works. Indirect effects basically function the same way. It increases the grass and herb cover, and then germination of woody species goes down, increased food for certain insect herbivores, increased food for large marsupials, decreased proportion of animal pollinated species, and then that moves over to further reduction in those animals, increase in certain insectivores, increase in dung beetles, further reduction in cover and litter, further loss of pollinators or granivores. There are indirect discharges of chemicals into the environment. Direct discharges. There are also pollutants released into the atmosphere. Toxic chemicals such as mercury and lead are found even in remote areas and also have the problem of bioaccumulation or biomagnification. Toxic chemicals such as PCBs and dioxins accumulate in the fatty tissues. Loss of species, populations, and/or habitat is dramatic and extreme. Extinction is a process, and it can be global or local, and also ecological. Early extinctions probably were caused by overexploitation, but now habitat degradation and/or invasive species are major factors. The number of genera, megamammals, extinct and their cause: 72% Australia, 88% North America. Consider the Polynesian colonization of the Pacific Islands 1,000 to 3,000 years ago. Over 2,000 species of birds and 8,000 populations were driven to extinction. The story is not so simple. Where invasive species and habitat degradation are combined, extinction followed. So here's a chart that shows, a table that shows the human colonization of the oceanic islands and the extinction that followed. Since 1500, more than 129 species have become extinct. Habitat loss is a major cause. Invasive species contributed for many of them, and overexploitation occurred in 1 of 5 species. Species doesn't exist in a vacuum, and extinctions usually have a ripple effect. Cascade effects, such as secondary extinctions, can occur. For example, plants with a single species pollinator or seed dispersers, if those plants disappear, then those pollinators or seed dispersers are also affected. For example, sea otters and sea urchins. Sea otters almost exclusively feed on sea urchins. So if one of those species becomes extinct, then the other will also. Another problem is the removal of top predators, which may cause the ecological release of mesopredators. So you're looking here at pictures of these mesopredators, the predators in the middle. If they don't have a predator above them, then they become very numerous. So there are many important species in a given community, and some are more important than others. A dominant species is common, but also may have strong effects on other members. Ecosystems engineers are those that modify the ecosystem, such as a beaver or an elephant. And a keystone species are a species that has more impact on the community than numbers, biomass would suggest. In other words, a bat pollinator may provide very high services, even though you would not expect necessarily by biomass that it would. And here is a table that shows you the impact of the species compared to the proportional biomass. So some species of low biomass have high impact and are keystone species, while others, common species such as a grass,